Come
There he
on, there
goes.
it's going. Oh, it's gonna pause now. That just stole all our thunder. Our thunder is stolen.
No.
What? Now it's gone. Okay, it's working now. That was the so lacklusterous intro ever.
You
That
worked
was
so hard on that too.
that was a Spinal Tap moment. When Stonehenge is lowered down majestically behind them, and the dwarves get caught up in the strings that are holding it up and trip on it. That was, I'd say the word would be lackluster. Welcome everybody to Pepper Monday. I am Brad.
I'm Krista.
And that's not how you make fire.
No.
But we were talking about fire tonight.
Fire.
Fire. But before we do, Mama, why don't you say hi to some folks?
Hi, North Star Prepsteader. She moved mountains. I got something to tell you in a second. Grandma So Happy Homestead, Phoebe Long, Skylark Rabbitry, Thinking of Others, Alicia, Mama Hubbard, and it's buffering like crazy over here. Oh boy.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Spinal Tap City. Ah ha ha ha.
Okay.
That might just be yours because it looks like it's showing the orange here.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Anyway, loads of people are here today. Chat disconnected. Please wait while we reconnect you.
Oh, that's not good.
I hope it's just mine and not.
Oh no, it's red there.
Oh, phooey. No internet.
Oh, nuts.
Oh, I know.
How's it you have no internet?
My phone was using the Wi-Fi.
That's why.
I forgot to turn that off.
Okay. Let's try this again, shall we?
Uh,
All right, so I'll say hello to folks if it's not.
Go for it.
I think it's working because I can see your arm moving in that tiny little corner. Hey, She Moved Mountains. Hey, Kara, Mystic Tiger, Alicia, Mama Hubbard, Clawfoot Farms, North Star Prepsteader, Grandma So Happy, Mama Hubbard, Smoky, Mountain Homestead, Phoebe Long. Looks grainy. Yeah. She Moved Mountains. Okay. Yeah. We're having a bad internet.
Our internet has
day.
been.
Ever since it got hot out, it just got junky. So we will try to
We're gonna keep going.
We're
gonna keep going.
I don't know. We'll keep going.
Hopefully it'll work.
Yeah, whoever is running that computer system should be fired. That would be AT&T. So take it up with them.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. I don't know what else to do. Let me try one other thing. No, because
Well,
if
the
I
funny
click
thing
there.
is there's no frames being dropped.
So it's on the side of
Yeah.
the internet.
Okay. Well, I'll just have to read comments from over here.
Okay. So Scott's saying we're all right. We're going to be okay. We're okay. So we're going to keep plugging
You're okay?
through.
I'm
I'm
okay.
okay. We're talking about fire tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Prepper Monday is all about things that are essential skills that in the what if circumstances of life, that if the worst thing happens, then you'll be more prepared to protect yourself and your family and thrive where others may struggle.
Yep.
And then you can be a help to them.
That's right.
And so, last week we talked about water. Water is essential for life.
Water is life.
Heat is essential. There's a lot of reasons why you need heat. And we're going to talk about tonight a lot of that. But before we do, go ahead and usher in the Shameless Plug Central.
All right, folks. Shameless plug. Okay, that's the channel shout out.
Yes.
Right? Okay, you messed me up. Because he usually does that part.
Oh, yeah.
So, those of you who have a channel or you have a favorite channel, please type it into the comments right now because we're going to shout them, well, not all of them, but
as many
as I can.
Yeah, so the way it works, in this next few moments, and only in this next few moments, you are not only allowed, you're encouraged to, you could just absolutely shamelessly plug your own channel, and we're going to try to read as many of them as we can, And then once that point is done, there's no channel shouting out of any kind.
Not at all.
So you'll be banned.
None whatsoever.
Blocked.
We will block you and
You will
time
be
you out.
fired. On your mark, get set, Mama. BB from Spain is on it.
Gold Shaw Farm, Farm Alarm, Raven Tactical Prepper Channel is the greatest.
Woo!
Mossy Bottom.
I've heard of the Soggy Bottom Boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stivers Homestead, Camp Patton Family Compound, Simply Living Alaska, White Cottage Company, Self-Reliant Roadshow, Alicia Drapu, $5 fines, She Moved Mountains, Hubbard Homesteadish, North Star Prepsteader, Coffee with Kate, Bob and Mrs. B, The Adaptive Maritime Holler Homestead, Oneida Farmers Market, Pips and
Gotta
Pops,
type faster.
Grandma's So Happy Homestead, Dustin Dean Homestead Outlaw, Clawfoot Farm, Crochet O'Clock, Grandma So Happy Homestead, Russian Survivalist, Hidden Heights Farm, Hillbilly Kitchen and American Homestead, Self-Reliant Roadshow, PNC 8. I'm not even going to try to say their last name. I know I butcher it every time. Thinking of Others, Tiny House Prepper, Nova Church Halifax, She Moved Mountains, Midwest Prepper, Scott Spiro.
And many, many more.
Rose of Sharon and New Tutora.
And many, many more.
Yes.
Now, I have a list here with stuff and things on them.
Lists.
And our channel shout out has just been changed.
Oh, it has.
It has.
Yes, it
I was
has.
going to shout out one channel, and I was going to shout it out loudly and shouty.
Ah, darn it. I wish I had brought some of those things up.
However,
Phooey.
I was just visually reminded of someone that we want to publicly thank.
Yes.
And that is because this person, this individual, they gave a sent with Prepsteader Bob and Mrs. B of the Self-Reliant Roadshow some gifts for us. Mm-hmm. Unexpected. We didn't solicit this. This person was just, hey, not looking for anything in return.
Thought you might like this. And it was awesome.
And that is the channel that I'm... Hold on. I know. Please go ahead right now and open up a new tab in your browser, get another YouTube thing out, and get ready to type in the channel name that I am going to tell you, because give them some sweet sub love.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, here's the deal. If you don't like the content, double your money back guarantee. I stand by that guarantee.
Okay.
And that channel is...
She Moved Mountains. Katie is a young lady in her early 20s. I don't know exactly how old you are. But she crochets like a beast.
A beastess.
Beast.
A beastess.
She made the coolest thing for our kids. They are water balloons.
Reusable water balloons.
Reusable water balloons. They are crocheted into the shape of a balloon, and they absorb and hold a lot of water. And our kids have had a blast with these water balloons. They throw them in the little kiddie pool, they get all soaked up with the water, and they throw them back and forth to each other. And then when they're done, they hang them on the clothesline. And then the next day, they reuse them the next day. It's fantastic.
It's been ever since we got them.
Yeah,
every day.
Every day.
Well, not now because it's a thunderstorm.
No, not now. And actually, I put them in the... I had Caleb bring them in the other night because it was going to be really windy and I didn't want any to blow away. So I put them in the laundry basket, threw them in the wash. They are fantastic. There's no latex balloons that are all over.
They're made completely without MSG, no GMO. They're non-GMO. They they don't use Roundup.
They're
not
really
Roundup
bright
ready.
and colorful. They're fantastic. I absolutely love them, and so do the kids. And that's a huge thing. So
sub it up. Go
Yes.
on over there and make her day.
Yes.
And then She Moved Mountains, it's up to you to keep them.
Yeah.
You got to make content if you want them to stay.
Yes.
So you got to do that. So it's
Right.
up to you. She Moved Mountains.
So I don't know if she sells them, but I bet if you sent her a message, she might.
That's Brad Pensively strokes.
I got to tell you, Katie, you got to let me know. You got to contact me because we got to do something with this because these are fantastic. Yes, they are plasticless and latex free. So
And
if
you
you
know what?
have latex allergy, these are perfect for you.
And these are extremely low-calorie water balloons, too. And let me tell you what. I was having a hard time not eating the whole bag. So, there you go. She Moved Mountains, once again.
Too funny.
Thank you. All right. So, tonight we're talking about fire.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of afraid to do anything with the computer now that it's like freaking out.
Don't touch it.
I'm not even going to change it. I made some graphics and stuff, and they look cool. Trust me, they look cool. But I don't want to have another Spinal Tap moment, and then the thing starts smoking and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Oh. It's She Moved Mountains, not Moves Mountains. Sorry.
Past tense.
Oh, brother.
Okay.
Oh,
Moved
my gosh.
Mountains. Moved
yes,
mountains.
thank you, BB. I totally just went right
I
over.
had hoped that people would see that they would see her
Yes.
channeling.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I had a definition of fire, but I'm afraid to go and find it now.
Well, where'd you put it?
It's in a different.
In the list?
Yes.
He has a tab marked lists. Imagine that.
However,
You're afraid to mess with it?
yeah, because it really messed up, and I don't want it to mess up
Well,
anymore.
it's working now, so go ahead and try it.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so why don't you call up a definition of
I
fire?
Okay, I will try.
Where the heck is Tyler Woods when we need him? Where are you, Tyler Woods?
Fire!
Where have you gone, Tyler Woody-o?
All right, so the definition of fire.
It's a what?
It is a noun.
A noun.
It is a noun. A combustion or burning in which substances combine chemically with oxygen from the air and typically give out bright light, heat, and smoke.
All right. Raven Tactical is the only one allowed to answer this next question, although most of you should know this. If not, shame on you for not being a Boy Scout or Girl Scout when it was still safe to be a Boy Scout or Girl Scout.
Where's that?
What 3 things does fire need? On your market set, Raven Tactical, type.
Go.
What 3 things does fire need to live, breathe, do its thing? What does it need? What does the beastess need? So, 3 things on your market set, go. Now, we're going to talk about some of the reasons why having accessibility to multiple ways of making fire is a huge skill that you need to have. And let's see, are we looking for Raven Tactical? Is he typing?
I don't know, but Scott said fire, it burns your finger.
Yes, it does. And actually, that was one of the things one of our kids said when they were little. Fire burn you.
That was Caleb, wasn't it?
Fire burn you.
He said fire burn you.
When he was little.
Yeah, he was super little.
Raven Tactical, okay. Richard Barnes, are you doing a meetup again this year? Yes. Grandma's So Happy is correct. There's 1.
There you go.
We got it?
Fuel, oxygen, and spark.
Yep. Heat, fuel, and oxygen.
Yep.
And there are many ways that you can make those 3 things come together.
Holy smokes.
In unity.
I found a list.
But we're not going there yet.
I know. That was a massive list. I've never found this big of a list of this many things.
All right. Top 5 reasons. What do you guys think are some of the top 5 reasons why you need to have fire on your side in a case of an emergency?
Fire on your side.
On your side.
I don't want fire on my side. It'll burn me.
Or control. Mowgli. You are the man cub.
All right, so
Ooh-wee-doo.
let's see.
I want to be like you. Ooh, ooh. He's got that crazy fire. So what are the things that you think are the most important? And then I will share with you some of the things that we have researched on multiple different survival websites. And that is, hello, the hive and the homestead.
Waiting. Watching Jeopardy.
Warmth is good.
Warmth?
Potable
water.
Yep. Laundry, lit for fire, lint for fire, yep. Mm-hmm. Hiding the bodies. The bones don't burn so easy, bro.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Warmth, survival, yes. Heat, cooking, light,
Sterilized water.
Sterilized water. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a lot of the ones that we researched.
Yep.
How about this one? Insects. Keeping away insects. Mm-hmm. The smoke. Yep. What other ones? I'm seeing Shere Khan. He's afraid.
Cooking, warmth, sterilizing water, growing food.
Growing food. Protection. That's one of the ones that I had waited to see. BB got that one. Protection. Mama Hubbard got another one.
Phoebe said
Signals.
That one
too. Oh, Phoebe got that one. Signals. Signalization. Signalization.
Sterilization.
You can use fire to sterilize where you're going to grow.
Well, you can also sterilize needles.
True.
If you have to, or knives if you have to cut something.
Yes. If you have to, where you don't want to.
Right.
Okay. One of the things that I would like to share with you before we go into some of the crazy ways that we've seen that you can make fire. Obviously, we're talking about all of these things are good things in your world, right? If all of a sudden the lights went out and you're not able to go to the stove and turn it on, or once you run out of gas in your stove and you can't turn it on, you're going to want to be able to heat your home, especially if you live up north. You're going to want to be able to heat your home. You're going to want to be able to boil water for many, many reasons.
Yep.
You're going to want to be able to do a lot of the things that we're talking about right here. Now, the question is, excuse me, how many ways do you know how to make fire without a stove or a lighter? There's the question. How many ways?
Okay.
Now, you talk about, count out the ways you know how, because I've seen you do a few.
My favorite way is a torch. Because it's just done.
But no, how you make it from scratch.
No, I know.
No, you know. I know. How do you make the fire?
I know. I was being silly about saying the torch.
Okay.
I've used the flint and steel with some dryer lint. That works really, really well. We have tons of matches, but that's not, those can get wet pretty easily.
Unless you've got weatherproof matches.
Unless you have waterproof matches,
They even have weatherproof matches, which we've actually done a review on.
Right. But the flint and steel is probably the easiest way to start a fire without, and you can even do them when the flint and steel is wet.
Correct. So there's one.
Right.
Outside of using regular old matches. Your favorite way, I know what you meant now. They didn't know what you meant when you meant torch. We actually have a propane torch that we use when we're cheating to light our fires in the winter.
Right.
I thought you meant like torch. I've got
No. A propane torch. That's my favorite way to light a fire in the wood stove downstairs.
Magnify sunlight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys are hitting some cool ones. Now, did you know that you can light a fire, a good fire? Well, you need a spark, but with one of these guys right here. Shameless Fender logo plug.
Yeah.
Yes, you can light a serious fire with these old school guitar picks. Why? They're made of cellulose. And if you know anything about cellulose, there are still laws on the books that in many big cities that still use old school films for movie theaters. They're not allowed. Cannot go on public transportation.
Right.
Why? These things are extremely flammable. And I even have videos on that where you can take an edge of something, scrape this off into a tiny little pile, and you give it just a small little spark, and it whoosh.
Right.
It goes up fast.
It does.
And let's just say there's a reason why you're not allowed to take those on public transportation, because it's killed a lot of people in the past.
Right.
In movie theaters.
This flame will just go up really fast. Another great way is steel wool and a 9-volt battery.
Did you bring the 9-volt?
I did.
Ooh, show and tell.
We got show and tell, but we're not going to do it in here because we don't have a fire extinguisher. Now,
Don't do this at home.
Don't do this at home. And please, if you folks have junk drawers, please make sure these are not in the same drawer.
Yeah.
Because if they touch, your house is caught on fire.
Monica remembers, Brad, you lit the fire at the table with it. That's right.
Yes, he did.
I did.
Yes, he did.
I did.
Yes. But you take the 9-volt. Okay, I'm just holding the battery and I can feel the spark in my tongue.
She's got a weird thing.
I have a weird thing. And it's probably
It's totally
psychosomatic. I know it is.
That way you know there's a little shock in it. And she says she feels it in her teeth.
I can feel it in my tongue.
With a 9-volt battery
and a steel wool.
Not a whole thing, just a little bit.
Yeah.
You basically what you're doing is you're shorting out the circuit, and then it's going to get really hot, just like that. Oh, they can't see that. Here, hold on. So can you see? Wait for it. See that? And that you'll put your tinder right there, and you'll gently blow on it, and then and that can make fire.
Right. But you can also use a gum wrapper too. It has. I know a lot of people have been saying you can use gum wrapper. The ones that have the metal, like the almost aluminum on there, you can use
the
those
older
too.
school ones.
Yeah.
Like the that's the green gum. I can't think of it.
Juicy fruit?
No.
No, that's yellow.
But basically, what you're doing is you're shorting out the positive and negative, and so even a small piece of wire would work. I wouldn't want to be holding a fork or something because then you're going to get a shock.
Well, there's that.
But anything that you can go ahead and get a little bit of tinder on there, and then you can make a spark, and then gently add. Remember the 3 things you need. You need
fire, spark, and oxygen.
Right.
Yep.
And so if you get too
much,
not
fire.
Fuel. So if you get too much of one of those things, you can put it out.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, my kids are notorious. We'll have a campfire going, and what they'll do is they'll start loading the campfire up with tons of wood and tons of wood and tons of wood until it's all of a sudden covered, and then they're wondering why it's smoldering.
Right.
Because they cut off the oxygen. So you need all 3 in the right proportions, or fire's just not going to work.
Right.
Now.
Right. Okay, Sarah's asking, can you use the same battery several times? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
as long as it is not a dead battery, it's going to last you quite a while.
Yeah.
Something else that we have.
That's basically flint and steel.
It's but this is it. Yeah, did you see the spark?
Yeah.
Actually found this in our son's car.
Which is a welding torch lighter.
Yes, it is a welding torch lighter. But these are so handy. I actually keep this in the van.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Barry over at the This Is How We Rock channel. Store up a bunch of these, the old
guitar picks.
The old guitar picks, and just keep them, and that way you can fling fiery picks at people.
Hey.
So, all right, I want to get into the list because there are some crazy ways that people have figured out how to make fire. But before we do, 2 things. Mama has put a bunch of items that we think are essential in the list below.
Yep.
And as we talk about them, maybe you're like, I really don't have a bunch of ways to do that. Maybe pick up something that's $1 or $2 or whatever, just to have a little bit of peace of mind.
Yep.
Now, I have done a lot of study on what it was like for non-combatants in, during, and after the Bosnian War back in the 90s. One of the single biggest things that they all wanted were Bic lighters.
Oh my goodness, really?
Traded for immense sums of money and goods.
Why?
We just said why.
Oh, for fire. Okay.
Fire.
Interesting.
A lot of people did not know how to make fire without an actual lighter. And so they couldn't sterilize. They couldn't heat.
They couldn't eat. They couldn't preserve food.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And that was one of the things that was traded at high value. And when you think about it, guys, $1 lighter that you can pick up, just throw it in the drawer somewhere. Forget about it. Put them everywhere. Out of reach of children, of course.
Right.
Out of reach of children. Yeah, guitarist will survive. That's right. We will unite.
That's funny.
And we will. Yeah. Bic equaled gold.
Yeah.
And that's not a joke.
No.
That's no joke. Do the research yourself, and you'll see. But number 1, look down there below for links. Number 2, understand that if something were to go wrong, something as insignificant as $1 lighter that you have could really honestly be the difference between life and death for people.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are sharing, it only takes a spark, Phoebe.
I know.
To get, it only takes nothing. To clear entire buildings. Anyway, drummers too.
Gosh. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Okay,
So funny.
so Mama found a list, and this is not an exhaustive list, just of
No.
101 ways to start a fire.
Well, and okay, they have them in sections. So the first 23 are all sunlight based. So if it's daytime and you want to start a fire, these will work perfectly.
Because they're reflector based.
If you have any of these items, any kind of magnifier, those little tiny plastic ones that are flat that you can use as a bookmark, those work great because it's a magnifier. Your eyeglasses, the readers, or a lot of people call them cheaters. I call them my granny eyeballs. Those work great because it's a magnifier. Let's see, a Fresnel lens.
Fresnel. I know it's spelled funny. It's Fresnel.
It's spelled Fresnel.
I know.
Sorry.
I know this because
I know.
I used to have
you know.
Fresnel lights for my
I know.
light kits
I know.
for
Well,
video production.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna just anyway.
A bottle of water. You're absolutely right
Yeah,
there,
you
Wisco Homestead.
You can use even ice cubes.
I have seen it done. It's really hard to do.
With an ice cube or a water bottle?
Those two are really hard to do because with an chunk of ice, you have to form it into a convex,
Yes.
basically a lens. You're making a lens, and then you got to hold it just at the right angle, just at the right,
Right. You can use any kind of glass, like rounded kind of glass, but also a Ziploc bag. If you make it into a rounded shape that filled with water, that Ziploc bag will help you to start a fire.
To focus. What you're doing is you're focusing light, guys. Right. And if you've ever been around, a Fresnel lens. Actually, I saw, there was a time when I was going to make an oven out of, you remember the old big square TVs that were huge and they were like 55 inches, but they were big square and they were projection TVs? In the front of those things, they have a piece of plastic that's a Fresnel.
Oh, yeah.
So what it does is it focuses the light like this, and you can take one of those things, and if you put it in a frame, you can focus it, and it burns through wood like that.
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah.
But this is the same idea. If you have like a dish network thing or even a bowl, you can focus light like that, and then it's going to heat up whatever's in the center of that beam, that death beam. Right? Continue.
Okay. Thanks. Appreciate it. What are these? Parabolic reflectors.
Yep.
Even the back, okay, the bottom of, you have any...
Convex, you're right, Carol.
We don't have any soda cans up here, any cans like that. But I've seen, okay, this is really strange. If you take a soda can, or any kind of can that you find, like a pop can or, but you shine the bottom of it. I've even seen where you can shine it with a bar of chocolate. Why you would waste a bar of chocolate on shining?
You don't need a whole bar, just a little bit.
I know. I'm being silly. Come on.
Okay, work with me, huh?
You can be funny.
Okay.
I can be funny. Anyway, so you can shine the bottom of that soda can, that pop can, and you can use that because it is a convex reflector there. So
you can also use
concave.
toothpaste.
That one's actually concave.
Yes, it is. You can also use toothpaste.
Yes, you can use
Now
toothpaste.
these ways are not easy to do. And
No.
here's something that I'm going to say again and again and again. Learn how to do these things. Don't just go, oh, that's a cool idea. If I'm in a problem, I'll try to use a soda can like I remember they said years ago on that stupid show.
Try it.
Rubber Channel.
Yeah. Try it. It doesn't take long. Make sure you're outside. Kids, have mom and dad help you. Don't do this without mom and dad.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
That's right.
Because they'll call us and blame us for them setting their house
No,
on fire.
that's your bad parenting, not ours. Watch
Pay
them.
attention to what your kids are doing.
Bad parenting.
Yeah. Krista is funny. Yeah, no.
Okay,
Really.
so a new category, spark-based.
Spark-based. So, like
Which
we
would be
talked about, the
yeah.
flint and steel, the battery and the steel will char cloth, dryer lint with your flint and steel. Those are dryer lint. What do you normally do with dryer lint?
Throw it out.
You throw it away. Stick it in an old coffee can, an old Ziploc bag. Set it aside. We always save ours in the wintertime to light the fire down in the basement.
Yep.
Because we've got a lot of dryer lint.
And these magnesium fire sticks that are right above my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have probably 20 of these things. And then the square ones are down here, like that. They're cheap. They're like a couple bucks. And I saw somebody mentioned earlier, magnesium burns at 800 degrees.
Yep.
I have a friend who was a firefighter, and they said that one time an old VW Bug the engine had caught on fire, and there's big pieces of magnesium on the engine block. And he said that it just will burn and burn and burn. So he said they dumped it in the river to get it off of the bridge so that the traffic could resume, and then they pulled it out when it was done burning out, because it'll burn underwater.
That's insane. Well,
That's why some of those nasty weapons during Vietnam were so horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep. Female.
Phoebe, you are correct.
Yep. Female products
Absolutely.
are great fire starters. My mother-in-law's stare. Oh.
What?
Can start a fire. His mother-in-law's stare.
Oh,
can
that's
start a fire.
funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
So other spark items, obviously, a lighter.
Yes.
A lighter. But once again, don't just go, that's a really cool idea. I'll learn how to do that someday.
And what Brad was saying earlier, our kids, they just like to pile on the fire. You've got to learn how to set the proper fire up, because you can't just put a bunch of wood there and think that it's going to light if you use these magnesium starters.
Right.
You have to start small with a little nest with lint and some twigs, and then not an actual bird's nest. I mean, you have to make one.
If you found a good bird's nest, it would work, though.
I would imagine, because they find all kinds of lint and hair and
yeah, an actual
small
bird's
twigs.
nest would do it, but I don't. Don't take
no.
the blue jays home for
No.
that. Just learn how to do it.
Oh my goodness. Yep, you can use cotton balls soaked up with wax. Yep, you can do that. There's loads of things.
Now, another way to make fires, friction-based. And when I was a Boy Scout, I actually did this, and it was a pain in the butt, but it does work.
I've never
And
done
that's the
anything
bow and the drill kind of thing, like such a one, and like such a one.
There's this guy on the bottom here is using his shoes.
And the reason why, I can tell you the reason why.
It doesn't wear out your hands.
It wears you out. It hurts. You can't do it if you had to in a
it's
in
going
a
to
survival
create heat
situation.
between your hands too.
Yeah, but get some piece of leather or something like that.
Right.
That's why they'll use the bow kind, which is
Right. Just other page.
There's another page, I think, with the bow. There's
Here.
one.
Here.
Yep. And it does work, but all you're really doing is you're trying to create a coal down there in the bottom. That's all you're trying to do. And you make a little tiny trench that once you got that coal, you kind of push the trench down onto your tinder. You're not going and then woof, it's going to make a fire. That's not how that works. You're making a coal, and then you roll it into what you're starting with, your very light stuff, and then you add to that.
Goodness. Well, this one's a good one where there's two people working together here.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, that would be helpful. That way one person's not getting, wearing out.
Too bad. What else we got there? Keep her moving.
Keep her moving. Okay, whoops.
Other friction items.
Other friction items. There's so many different things that you can do just by, moving the wood together.
Well, here, let me keep looking, and then you can keep chatting.
All right, let's see.
Maybe find a comment or two.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a great way to do that. If you happen to have a little electricity left, use a drill.
There you go. That'll work.
But then again, I would use the battery. I would arc the battery. If you were only stuck with a drill,
right.
I'd arc the battery.
All right, Scott from Franklin, North Carolina says gunpowder from a shell and tinder.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do that. She Moved Mountain says I've seen people take cotton ball makeup remover pads and tip them in melted wax, and use them as fire starter. You know, there's something else that you could do for fire starters. Is you can take old paper egg cartons, ones that are not really good for holding eggs anymore, and you can put some wood shavings in each one, and then pour wax on top of those, and those are great fire starters too.
And then there's always
Good
matches.
old matches, yep.
Yep, matches. But if you're going to get matches, I seriously recommend getting the weatherproof matches. Mm-hmm. And I did a demo on those a couple of years back, and I was surprised. I was out in serious wind, and I had them soaking in water.
Yeah.
Straight up, like, let them stay in the water for 30 seconds, bowl of water, in serious wind, lit up, and was not a problem staying lit. Mm-hmm. Now, think about how valuable that would be if you didn't have access to reliable heat.
Right. So Richard Barnes is asking, how do you start a fire if everything is wet?
There's an excellent question. There are several different techniques to do things with, but what you try to do mainly is you try to get everything as dried out as you can, obviously, or do your best. And then you're going to need to have consistent flame. Yeah. Consistent flame. Mm-hmm. And try to make sure your oxygen is able to get up underneath it. There's ways that you can dig a hole if it's not muddy and drill
make like a small rocket
holes.
Stove?
Yeah, basically like a rocket stove. Mm-hmm. If it's not muddy, there's ways that you can do that. There's tons of ways. And my encouragement to you tonight is not for you to go, oh, well, now I know everything there is to know about how to start a fire. Because you would be sadly deceived.
Mm-hmm. You have to try several different methods to...
Well, what I'm saying is don't let this be your only source of how to do it.
Right. Do some research. Yeah.
So, a pine cone with wax. All right, who gets the big old prize for the coolest way of starting a fire? Because I gotta be honest, I think my way is the coolest way. Guitar pick. Who do you see had the coolest way?
I don't know. I didn't really see.
Malcolm, my propane torch with the starter button. Yeah, we got those from Harbor Freight too.
I like those.
They work great.
Yes, they do. I like using those when I start the fire in the mornings.
So, hey, Thrifty VG. Missed you at the Bible devotion this morning. So, hopefully everything is okay.
Yep. Okay, so there are lots of firearm, uses with firearms, gunpowder, firing cloth wads.
Yeah.
The tracer ammo.
Yes.
No, unlike tracer ammo. Okay.
Okay, there are, this is exotic stuff, guys. But there are incendiary rounds. I don't know if they're legal or if you have to have a special doodad to get them or not. So those of you who are more informed about that sort of thing, maybe you can chime in. But I do know that there are shotgun shell rounds called Dragon's Breath. And they do this.
Holy smokes.
That's exactly what they're designed to do. And so that might start a fire.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
That might even start a fire with wet wood.
Holy smokes. Would not want that near me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So in all honesty, guys, the point of this evening is to hopefully get you motivated to go, you know what? I only know how to use a lighter. Maybe I should at least get a flint and steel. Maybe I should at least locate some of these things. That way, if I had to try to do it, I could do it. And then practice them.
Oh.
Practice them.
Yeah.
What?
Everybody has those in their car.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody's got those.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no, our cars, they come with them.
No, they come with, well...
Because you take that out. I always take them out and put them in the glove box. Because,
I didn't think they still put them in the cars.
Well, actually, I don't know if the brand new cars come with them. But
Well,
our car
later.
had one. All of our cars have had one. And our son, was it David or Jonathan? One of the older boys actually got burned with one of these because he was fooling around with it.
He didn't know what it was.
He had no idea what it was. So if you don't smoke, take it out of your car and put it in the glove box so it's not there.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So, really, that was the point of the evening, guys, that we want to just press the idea that, hey, if you don't have a few of these things, skills learned, it would be very, very worth your time.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
And with that, it's almost time to say goodbye. But as you guys know, we're a family of believers. And so we like to end these evenings with a time of prayer. But we realize that there are folks here who are not. And we don't want to be rude, because I don't believe that Jesus is the kind of God that's going, hey, I want you to beat him over the head with this and force him to do something. Because I don't think that's who he is. So we're going to jump into a time of prayer. And if that's you and you want to say goodbye, hopefully we'll see you back next week. Next week we're going to do something very, very exciting. We're talking about food.
Ooh.
Food. And so with that, we're going to jump into a time of prayer. So here we go. Father God, I come before you, and I am just so grateful for each and every one of these folks here. I know that you've put them in our lives for a reason, and for that I hope to be honorable and hope to reflect you. Jesus, I would just ask that you would give a big old hug to each and every one of these folks, and no matter how their situation may be and how rough they may have it, that they would know that you are there and you love them. Just pick them up and love them like a dad, like a loving father. We thank you, Lord Jesus, and we praise your name. Amen.
Amen.
Alrighty, guys. With that, I don't know. Let's see if I can do this. See if it'll go. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say goodbye.
Have a great night, everybody.